Alongside Martin Biron. Marty, let's talk first impressions. Let's roll through the 7 Canadian clubs, and you tell me your first thought from what you've seen so far. Wowed, worried, or work in progress? Let's start in the nation's capital. First impressions from what you've seen from the Ottawa Senators, Marty.
So I'm wowed with the Ottawa Senators because of their edginess, their identity. It started in preseason. I thought maybe they'll get in trouble taking penalties, and the way they came back against Tampa with that edge, with that identity that we know that Ottawa could be in the top 3 in the Atlantic, I'm wowed for the start of the Ottawa Senators.
To Montreal, Habs thumped the Wings after opening with a loss to the Leafs. Worried, wowed, or work in progress for Montreal?
I'm going to go wowed with the Montreal Canadiens. Look, it wasn't them and the way that they usually play against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but in the second game, what we saw is the depth of the Canadiens. It wasn't just Caulfield and Suzuki and Slafkowski or Hudson. It was Bolduc, it was Carrier, it was Kapanen. That is why I'm wowed with the Canadiens. I wasn't expecting their depth to show up as much as they did, and in the first 2 games, the depth has definitely been there.
What about the Leafs? 5-2 final score over Montreal looked good, but was it enough to wow you?
It's a work in progress with the Leafs. It wasn't enough to wow me. And listen, it's as expected. They won a game where I felt like they were in control, but maybe that is exactly what you need with your Craig Berube and the Toronto Maple Leafs. You don't have to be so high. You don't have to go so low. Just be consistent in the middle. So I'm going to say a work in progress. I need to see a little bit more out of Matthews, out of Nylander when there's 5-on-5 and when the game is on the line. They still got their points and their goals, whatever, but work in progress for the Leafs. They're one of the better teams in the Atlantic.
The Jets won big by signing Kyle Connor, but lost their home opener. Wowed, worried, or work in progress for them?
Worried with the Winnipeg Jets because it was more of a run and gun. They gave up so many opportunities to the Dallas Stars, and the Jets were the best defensive team in hockey last year and allowed Connor Hellebuck to be the best goalie and get the MVP. So, yeah, they were able to come back. And, yes, Kyle Connor was able to score and almost, tie the game up. But I am worried because their structure defensively wasn't there in game 1 against Dallas. It wasn't there in preseason either. So that worries me with the Jets.
What about the Oilers? They also lost their home opener. What are your early impressions of them?
I'm worried with the Oilers because it is as expected right now. What are the issues with the Oilers? Goaltending, crease, right? I know there was a couple of bad bounce against Stuart Skinner, but the third goal was a bad one. That can't happen. So that's a worry for me. And their 5-on-5 play. They got 2 of their 3 goals on the power play. Power play was great. That's as expected. But where is the 5-on-5 depth that you need out of the Edmonton Oilers? That was a question mark entering the season. The goaltending was a question mark. So I'm worried because we didn't get any answers with that in the first game.
The Oilers' opening night loss was to the provincial rival. Not much expected from the Flames this season. 1-1 out of the gate. Wowed, worried, or work in progress in Calgary?
Worried to a work in progress. The problem with the Flames is maybe it's because they played on back-to-back nights, and in game 2, they were slow. In game 1, Dustin Wolf saved the day. He was really good. Even though they were down 3-0, he allowed them to come back and win it in a shootout. But I felt like the Flames were slow. Now, they were able to have a great season last year and maybe overcome some of their deficiency offensively. But in the first 2 games, especially in game 2, I felt they were slow. And to me, that's worrisome when I look at the Flames trying to match the 96 or plus points that they got last year.
The Flames' loss came in Vancouver in their home opener. What's your early take on the Canucks?
I'm wowed by the Vancouver Canucks because I thought they were fast. Look, I have zero expectation with Canucks. New coach, the dysfunction that was the Vancouver Canucks last year, Thatcher Demko and the injuries, and all 3 were thumbs up when it comes to the Canucks in game 1. The amount of chances they created off the rush and the pinpoint accuracy of their execution and their shooting. Look at the goal from Brock Besser. It was right in the corner. I was wowed with the Canucks in game 1.
First impressions with TSN Hockey analyst Martin Biron.